I and Anna, my wife, was very disappointed to find out that you were not included in any of the hustings, despite being the only independent candidate, despite being, and it is in my view, that is shocking, outrageous, and scandalous. What I suggested you should do, which you decided not to do, and I'd be interested in knowing why, I suggested you do like a mayoral candidate, an independent mayoral candidate in London did, and go to the hustings and barrack Burnham and the other establishment toadies from the audience, but you chose not to. And the reason I suggest you do it is not because I felt they deserved it. They did deserve it. The reason I thought that would be good is if somebody, and I offered to come and film you, I think, if somebody had filmed that, posted it on social media, and if you'd really got some good points in, that would have really increased your visibility to the voting public. But you chose not to do that. Now, what's part of the reason might be just you're a shy guy and you don't want to expose yourself and all that sort of stuff. But why did you? Presumably you had to think about that.
I did.
I know. I'm not claiming this to be my idea because I know you'd seen the video of the guy, the mayor of the guy.
I know him. I've interviewed him. Yeah.
So why would you not do something like that? Because this is the last gasp, the last chance to increase your profile dramatically. That could have done it. So why would you not do that?
I did it to play the slightly longer game. So you're right, it got me more publicity there than then. But I'm not prepared to come across as a victim, as a weakling, screaming at people that you need to let me in your club. Well, no, I don't want to be in a club that doesn't want me in their club. Social media went crazy because of that. I've had so many people saying they're voting for me just because they thought that was disgusting. So the BBC didn't invite me, Manchester News didn't invite me, the Jewish Council of Greater Manchester didn't invite me. And it's not that they didn't invite me, there were 6 candidates and all 5 were invited to everything. Now if we had 15 candidates, I can understand out of logistics, we cannot have 15 people there speaking because they'll all get one question and that'll be 2 hours gone. We won't get into the main contenders.
But you're right, 6 candidates is nothing.
No, well, even if it is, the optics of only allowing 5 out of 6 and you penalising one person, the optics is terrible. The last election, 3-4 years ago, the BBC, from my recollection, only interviewed Labour and Tories. And said, because there was 11 candidates then, and said there's too many, the 2 main parties. That was unfair. But I understood why they did that.
There was some logic to it, but
this time there's absolutely no logic to it at all. Like you can invite 5 people, but not 6 people. And that was many organisations, wasn't just the 2 BBC and Manchester News. The Jewish organisation, I just said, big Jewish community in Greater Manchester. So I'm the only one they don't invite. If I saw that as a Jew and went, they're not inviting Nick Buckley, there must be a reason. He must be an anti-Semite. That's what I would think as a Jewish person. If you've not invited him, there must be. We've invited the Labour people and their party was found guilty of being anti-Semitic and they've got people in their party now of anti-Semitic. So Nick Buckley must be even worse than them. And what they don't know is I was on the march against anti-Semitism.
I was going to say you've been very vocal, very active on the anti-Semite.
Absolutely. And the reason I asked them why I'm not invited, we don't invite independents. And then we had the small business network.
Why though?
It's their policy.
It doesn't make any sense, does it? It's a nonsense.
If it's their policy, that means they can change their policy. This isn't law.
But it's not like it's not like you're part of the monster raving loony party or something. You've got a lot of credibility. You've got an MBE. You're well known. You're a charity. You've run and operated charities. You're a stable member of society. An upstanding member of society. Why would they not invite you? It's insane.
We don't invite independents. And it's not just them. So let's look at the Small Business Federation. I'm the only candidate who has a separate business manifesto. Because I've run businesses like you. I've run businesses, not anymore, but I've run businesses, set businesses up. I've been self-employed many times. So I created a business manifesto. And they said to me, we don't invite independents to our hustings. So they invited 5 people and not 6 again. And I'm like, I have a business manifesto here.
Yeah, yeah.
And they actually said to me, we like your business manifesto. It hits loads of fantastic points, your business manifesto, but you're still not coming.
Yeah, but it would make sense if there were 5 independents standing, but there's only 1. That's what's insane about this. And as a result, you don't get the publicity. So, I mean, that leads...
So why didn't I kick off more than I kicked off?
Yeah, so, yes. Why didn't you take my advice and do the kicking off in the... Yeah. Because you didn't have to say, let me on the stage. Yeah. What you could have said is, why have you not invited the only independent on the stage? Why have you spent 300 million on, what's it called?
Yeah.
That
CAS
or whatever.
Stuff like that.
You could have actually gone in with some actually points which weren't basically being saying, oh, let me on the stage, but saying... tell me this sort of thing. You could have actually done that. I
could have done, but again, I don't want to come across as that person who is upset he's not been invited to the slumber party. So I'm better than that. I'm better than everybody on that stage. And if you're not willing to accept me as an independent, then shame on you, and we need to let the people know. And there'll be consequences for them for this, because I'm going to finish in a good position now. So they're going to have to answer questions. He wasn't a gimmick. He wasn't a nobody. Look where he finished. He's beating all these parties you didn't want. And when I stand again and they invite me, the answer is no. I won't go on their hustings next time. When I am a somebody, and when they hold their hustings, I'm going to hold my own hustings and say, don't go to the BBC and hear from them. Come to my hustings and hear from me. And I'm going to try to take the power away from them. They're the gatekeepers. And if I play their game and thank them for them including me, then I hand them the power. I'm playing their game. I'm not playing their game now, and I'm not playing their game in the future. Hence why I told Mike Sweeney that I'm not coming on and doing his hot seat every week. No, you're not the gatekeepers to the people for me. I'm the gatekeeper. I will speak to anybody I want to speak. I will find new ways of speaking to people who have never been spoken to before, because all you people only speak to the people who are only interested in you and your clique and your organisation. And I'm not prepared to have these small organisations and these groups, identity groups, dictate and hold power. I'm going to go to the wider people. I want rallies like Trump had. So I'm not Trump. I wouldn't want to be a Trump. But he goes to the people. He bypasses all the institutions. And that's what I need to be looking at if I run and when I run again.
There's something, it's just listening to you speak now, Nick, I would say there's something actually very spiritual about what you just said. And it's kind of, it's almost, and I would use the word Christian about what you just said, because what you're actually saying is effectively, I'm not going to pander to the authorities. I'm not going to pander to the elites. I'm going to walk amongst the people. I'm going to ignore the money lenders. I'm going to talk to the people, and the people will come to me. And I'm not wishing to characterize you as a Christ-like figure here, but that kind of low profile, kind of let me talk to the people and the people will come to me, I think is a really interesting take. And arguably that is what Trump did.
Yeah.
Trump didn't follow any of the conventions here. He just went out amongst the people, and then the people started coming to him, didn't they?
Yeah.
So it might be a long game, but I think
it is. Yeah. I gave it a lot of thought.
Yeah.
And a part of my answer was, I can't beat them playing their game.
Correct.
These political parties, these institutions are experts in what they do. They've got the power, they've got the money. I can't beat them on their turf. Now, in the book, The Art of War, there's a chapter about how you pull your enemy onto your battlefield. And that's what I'm going to try to do, because I can't beat them on their turf. I've got to pull them onto uncomfortable ground that they don't know how to fight. That's how we beat the French at Agincourt. We got their soldiers on a muddy ground, and then we hammered them with the longbows and killed them. And
they were French, though.
They were French. We'll build a wall in the channel, and the French are going to pay for it. So yeah, I'm trying to be more tactical and. Yeah, and I don't want to come across as a moaning victim. Yes. They don't want me there, don't want me there.
The only argument I'll throw against you here is that Jesus did go into the temple and overturn all the money lenders. Yeah. So to me, you causing trouble at hustings would have been an equivalent of that. You know, I'm not going to accept this behaviour by you, although they weren't in a church or anything. They were just sitting in a hustings.
And then people have asked me, should we make it illegal for hustings not to invite everybody? Now again, I don't agree with that. These hustings are, many of them, I mean, if you're the press, then yes, I think you should be inviting everybody, or have a good reason why you're not. But if you're a private organisation, so let's say the Jewish Representative Council, let's say I was a far-right Nazi anti-Semite, we shouldn't be forcing them to have me at their hustings. They're a private organisation, they should pick and choose who they have. So I do agree with these hustings being able to decide themselves. I just think the system they're using is unfair, but that's for them to soul search themselves, and the people who support those organisations to complain to them going, I'm a member of the Small Business Network, I pay my yearly dues to you, how dare you not invite the only candidate I wanted to hear from running my business? He's got a bit. So these people who pay their subs and are members of these organisations have to do the groundwork to change their organisation. I don't want us forcing them to do what they don't want to do.
Yeah, but then you've got to be careful because you can end up like the universities have become now, where they actually now censor free speech by not inviting certain people they don't agree with. I think you've got to be careful with an election. I think if you're going to be fair, you need to invite everybody. And you know, if somebody isn't breaking the law, even though they might be on the far right, and that far right expression, by the way, is massively overused.
We're all far right.
Yeah, we're all far right now.
If you're not Stalin, you're far right.
Yeah, I meant to send you. There was a really interesting thing about extremism. I thought I had sent it to you. I can't remember who was talking now, but he was talking about extremism, and he was saying, if we're talking about extremism, let's talk about giving puberty blockers to children.
That's extreme.
That's extreme. Let's talk about arresting Jewish people for trying to cross the road in front of an extreme right. Let's talk. I'll tell you who it was.
Honor killings, extreme.
Yeah. I'll tell you who it was. It was it's Peter Whittle.
All right.
That's what we call it. It was, and it's a really good speech. He was talking about, but he gave examples of extremism. Which were examples of what the progressives are now pursuing, which I thought was fascinating because we're calling everybody far right and extremist now. The extremism is happening in our heart, right in front of us now, isn't it? Yeah. With some of these behaviours. So just going back to your point, I think they should have invited you, because it doesn't matter what your views are. I think you're a candidate. You've made the effort. You're a candidate for the mayor, and you should have been given that platform.
I think only under two circumstances. I think if you're the press and you come under Ofcom and you have a duty for being impartial, I would say yes, you should be inviting everybody. And my only other caveat would be, if you're an organisation that gets public money, then you have a duty to represent all parts of the public.
Yes.
So, but if you're a privately funded organisation, I don't think you should be forced.
So, were none of the hustings on public in a public environment then, or a publicly sponsored environment?
Well, I'm not talking about public sponsored. I'm talking about if you're the Jewish Representative Council, I'm sure you get money off the government somewhere. If you're the Small Business Federation, I'm sure you're getting government money to fund your organisation. If you're getting taxpayers' money, you should be representing all views at the hustings. But if you're a private organisation, so let's say you are a Bevy residents group, and you don't want to invite me to your hustings, well, I think that's unfair. But I think you have the right to do that because it's a private organisation.
Yeah, I think you're right, but somehow it feels very wrong. I think the question.
That's a British sense of fair play.
Yeah,
it
feels unfair.
Wrong.
I know Anna, when she read it, I think she read your article. She said that she actually said that is scandalous. Yeah. And it was scandalous. You read it and you think, whoa, doesn't make any sense.
The North East mayoral election, the BBC invited the Independent.
Really?
On the TV debate. If you like that video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell and comment. And if you like what I'm saying about running for Mayor of Greater Manchester, then stick around. Tell your family, tell your friends. It's the only way I'm going to have a chance of winning is a grassroots movement. So be part of that movement and hit that bell. Thanks.